This is the Royal Navy Titan, the Rodney. It is available in the store for almost 20,000 doubloons during the Dragon's Voyage campaign, and it is like a Nelson-class British battleship that has 9 main guns up front and nothing in the rear, so you keep everything forward and can inflict some massive damage, as you're going to see in the replay highlight video. And yeah, with that, let's get into the setup of the ship and the commander, who is John Fisher. Base trait is furious temper, and you're going to need a furious temper if you're going to play the Rodney. Main battleship reload time and range is improved. And then for inspirations, we have our standard accuracy build inspiration of Andrew Cunningham for concentrated devastation, and Robert Juillard for bore, which improves the battleship's armor-piercing shell penetration multiplier, flammable cannoneer, gyrating drill bits, and then here the unique skill is reformer, which improves the battleship main battery range, torpedo range, and main battery dispersion, but that is at the cost of maximum HP. Kind of a good reason to use Fisher, because the Rodney does have torpedoes and a speed boost, so those are qualities that I think are normal for a battle cruisers. Not saying the Rodney's a battle cruiser, but Rodney does have torpedoes and a speed boost, and Fisher takes advantage of the torpedo with the improvement of the torpedo range there. Then we went with a master mechanic rather than emergency specialist or firefighter. I think master mechanic is the better skill. Amount of HP recovered is 10%. And you get 2 extra repair party charges. That is pretty significant here. And then here, speed is my armor with that speed boost. Engine boost cooldown time is improved, as is the maximum battleship speed and incoming damage from shells, torpedoes, bombs, or whatever, while the engine boost is active. And you do get an extra engine boost charge on top of that. Let's go to the upgrades. Traverse speed on the Rodney is pretty bad. I did kind of experiment with main battery mod 2 to improve the traverse speed, but the accuracy was not quite there. So I went with aiming systems mod 1, which improves the main battery dispersion, torpedo launcher traverse speed, and secondary battery fire range and its dispersion. Here we went with the propulsion mod 2 to cut the time taken to reach full power, cut that in half. Concealment system mod 1 improves the detectability range by 10%, and incoming fire dispersion scatters it another 5%, same as any fully upgraded camo or skin. Then here we went with main battery mod 3, which improves the main battery reload time, but you do take a hit on the main battery traverse speed, so we'll see what that does in the specs. High explosive shells, armor piercing shells, and torpedoes, as we said. We'll check those in a little bit. Damage control party duration is 15 seconds, reloads every 76 seconds, and there's an unlimited number of those consumables. For repair party consumables, partially restores the ship's HP by repairing any light damage at the rate of 1459 hit points per second. Duration is 17 seconds, and it reloads every 95 seconds. Then we went with the engine boost consumable rather than the sonar, especially since Fisher does have those skills to help out the engine boost. Maximum speed is improved by 8% when the consumable is running, and it runs for 2 minutes, and it reloads every minute and a half or so, and there are 3 of those consumables. And then we have enhanced secondary targeting, which improves the secondary battery shell grouping and its dispersion. Duration is 30 seconds, and it reloads every 152 seconds, and there are 3 of those. And we're maxing out the battle boosters here, but that could change depending on the match. Ship does come with a cool premium permanent camouflage. Sea detectability range and incoming fire dispersion is 4.5% respectively. And you do want to make sure that you set up the Rodney flag if you do go ahead and get that package. Pretty cool flag. Specs: survivability hit points is 66,340. Armor is 9 to 406 millimeters, and I do believe I've been in some matches where I've gotten pretty much taken out by that 9mm armor. Torpedo damage reduction is pretty much non-existent, so watch it if you get hit by torpedoes. Artillery is rated pretty high here with this build and setup. You have 9 guns, 16-inch guns in front. Firing range is awesome at 20.3 kilometers. Reload time is 23 seconds, which is great, and 180-degree traverse time is 39 seconds, which all things considered is not completely terrible. HE shell damage is 5950 with a 32% chance of setting fire, and it seems a lot worse than 32% as far as setting fires here with the Rodney. It's not like you're in the Lion, I can tell you that much. Maximum armor-piercing shell damage is 12,960. Secondary armament is nothing to really write home about at 5.2 kilometers, but that is what it is. Let's check out the torpedoes. You only have 2 torpedo tubes, and they are in the front of the ship. They reload every 40 seconds, which is pretty good. Maximum damage is awesome at almost 30,000 hit points you can inflict if you get a hit. So you'll definitely take out a lot of ships or cause extreme damage if you get a hit. And those torpedoes reload every 40 seconds, as we said. Range is 7.4 kilometers. Speed is 67 knots. AA defenses, I haven't really noticed that the Rodney is particularly really good at knocking aircraft out of the sky, but there it is. Maneuverability, maximum speed is 24 knots. Turning circle radius is 3/4 of a kilometer. Rudder shift time is 14.5 seconds or so. Concealment, detectability range by sea is 13.1 kilometers. Range by air is 11 kilometers. And while you're firing the smoke, it is 14.7 kilometers. All right, let's check out the armor. It looks like Rodney is encased in 32mm armor or so all around the entire hull. That is awesome. So you can definitely ricochet pretty much any shell other than the Yamato shells or the Musashi shells. Anything larger than 16-inch guns will ricochet at appropriate angles. All right, so let's remove the armor and check out what the Citadel looks like. And yeah, this looks kind of decent with the orange armor there, but look at how much is above water. And even though you have like a super heel, I have noticed that after a certain point, especially when you get targeted by the other team, which happens to me more often than not, you can really knock your hit points down and get taken out really quick there. So Citadel and the ship in a lot of ways does look like it is protected pretty well, but there's so much Citadel above the water, look out for that. Overview, superior armor-piercing penetration, and yeah, it does have an above-average armor-piercing shell penetration, greater heel. It does have a super heel, big yield, above-average torpedo damage if you can get a hit, and in all of my matches, I haven't really used the torpedoes all that much, let alone get a hit. So then the Rodney is one of the most formidable British Navy warships during the interwar period. Rodney featured a distinctive layout with all 3 of her main battery turrets concentrated on her bow. The battleship had quite an eventful service history, participating in military operations in the Atlantic, Arctic, North Sea, and Mediterranean during World War II. Rodney also played a key role in the sinking of the battleship Bismarck in May of 1941, and she significantly contributed to the success of the Allied landings in Normandy in June of 1944. Entered service in 1927, and there were 2 ships in the series. I assume the other one is the Nelson. So there you go. That is it for the setup of the ship and the commander. Let's go out in a standard match and see what we can do.
All right, here we go. And yeah, I have not had what you would call the best of luck in the Rodney for whatever reason. And from my perspective, seems like my teammates basically evaporate and I'm sort of like left out to dry. I'm sure it's something that I am doing wrong. I always hear about that kind of thing in comments to my videos, but bottom line, you play the game enough and things will definitely equal itself out, and that's basically what is going to happen here. And it's not really going to be a spoiler, but we are going to get a huge lead, which is basically going to get equalized toward the end, and we are almost going to have to come from behind and take matters into our own hands to win the match. And you got to do what you got to do when you got to do it. And so here's a Zieten properly facing bow onto us, but looks like he's going to get hit by that torpedo there. Yeah, and the shells basically spread out, so when you're going edge on, you're only going to get, or bow on, you're only going to get a couple hits anyway. And up until I selected the main gun mod that gives you more accuracy rather than traverse speed in slot number 1, I was not really getting that many accurate shots on the opposing ships. And I've come to realize that the traverse speed isn't that big of a deal, because look at how well the ship is turning here, and I think the rudder makes up for a lot of what the traverse speed of the main guns are lacking. So in the end, we went with a full accuracy build here, 20 kilometer main gun range, which is awesome. And we are just going to go over to A. We are not going to abandon the flank. In fact, what we're going to do is come over here and basically clean up the entire side and put ourselves so far out of position that it's going to take a while to get all the way back over to B and C, as you're going to see later on in the match. This guy is not looking too healthy. If we get some good shots here, this could be the first kill. And there you go. That is the first kill. I called the shot. How about that? This is the first time I'm re-looking at this replay after playing the game last night. So I've had such bad luck with the Rodney that I have played 11 or 12 matches, and I've only won 3 of them. This is one of the 3 wins, and basically my team hung together. There's the second one. My team held together long enough to be able to do something where I'm not getting targeted by the entire red team. Is generally what happens, is everybody just starts evaporating, and you're going to see this later on. So look at this. We are up 9 ships to 6. And believe it or not, by the end of the match, that thing gets completely equalized. And that was over 20,000 damage on the Charles Martel. And we are just like rocking with the Rodney. This is awesome at this point. But you can see how far over I'm getting, way out of position. Charles Martel is going to be kill number 3. And we are well on our way to a crack. And look at that. We got that guy before our teammates' shells got there. So now it's just the Zieten. And this is not going to be so easy. The destroyers and the cruiser, kind of like no problem here with the 16-inch guns on the Rodney. We are going to get hit by one of these torpedoes, and it just damaged the engine a little bit, but it didn't cause a flooding. The floods are by far a worse deal than if your engine gets conked out. And it looks like we still have a little bit of maneuverability. We got quite a few hit points there off of that Zieten from those hits, and that's got to be because of the 16-inch guns. So yeah, we are continually going down toward the edge here, and I'm hoping that my team would just start whittling him out so I could pick him off right there on the end, just like, I've seen MetaJerk do that, and yeah, it seems like a good strategy. Don't fire until the guy's almost gone and pick him off. That's what I try to do, and it's a great strategy. There's no such thing, I don't think, as stealing someone else's kill. You got to do what you got to do to win the game. If you don't do it, the wrong thing happens. The next thing you know, you're looking at a loss. So here, I think this is a 4th destroyed ship there on the Zieten. But yeah, you can see that we are so far out. We are way on the left edge of the map. And we are going to hit the speed boost and do what we can to get back in play again. But 88,000 damage, 40 main gun hits, 4 destroyed ships, and I have to admit, when I'm playing the Rodney, for whatever reason, I totally forget about the torpedoes. And the really strange / odd thing about the torpedoes on the Rodney is they are only available in the front. So they're bow firing torpedoes, and it's kind of hard for me to get the hang of that. I saw Tommy Boy had some replays in his review of the Rodney where he got a whole bunch of torpedo hits on in Iowa, and let me tell you, that is definitely how you want to do that. So here, check this out. We are 6 versus 4 here, and look at these guys are just like evaporating. Now we're down 3 to 4, and next thing you know, it's going to be all evened up. 3 ships apiece for each side, and we had such a huge lead that now, I got to be honest, I am thinking that this is going to be another loss. And yeah, so I'm trying to get over here as quick as possible. I'm looking for the ship. You can see the shells coming from the left over to the right there, taking a shot at the, I guess that's an Mogami, I think is what it is, that cruiser right there. And you just see shell after shell after shell going over there. And I think that's a Rochester. It could be a Dalian, I think. It's some cruiser that's able to launch those shells that quickly. And he is out of our detection range. So I have no idea what ship that is at this point, but it's just 3 cruisers left. So the Rodney should be able to like mop up on these cruisers. There's a D7 Provincien. The 16-inch guns completely will devastate the cruisers. And there we are evened up, as I said. And it's sort of like I cannot get over here quick enough. And I'm afraid by the time I get over there, my entire team is going to evaporate. And the cruisers are going to be like a pack of wolves just chomping at the Rodney, and may or may not be able to survive that. Hopefully it won't get down to that. So here we're taking a shot at Pozhardny. I probably didn't pronounce that right. Pozharsky. Yeah, obviously I've never played that ship. I think I have the ship. If it's a kind of looks like a Soviet ships though. So there is the other cruiser over to the left. And yeah, he is within range. Kind of like a blind fire over the island there. And yeah, we are booking at that cruiser over on the right in front of us, basically. We're up to 93,000 damage. Are we going to get a crack it on this guy? Is he going to show us a broadside? No. He's just going to stay there, bow on, which is the best play for him. Best play is get out of the open water, actually. Oh, he's gone. So now D7 Provincien, and he is broadside. This is awesome. He's probably focusing on my teammates right there, but no, he's turning more bow on. So are we going to get this guy? I don't think we're going to get him, but we may severely miss him right there. And then this guy in the smoke screen is just going to be taking pot shot after pot shot at us. And yeah, we do have a lot of health. We do have one more heal booster, so that will help. But this is like not looking all that great. I got to be honest with you. Hopefully that guy will get hit by one of the torpedoes, and he does. And then this one hit, I think this is the Kraken right here. And then we go after the last ship. And yeah, that guy is gone. There is the Kraken. So now it's just the last ship, and we have a minute of the speed booster to go up and close in on this guy. It's a Dalian, that's what it is. And we are just going to go up here and hopefully obliterate him. Well, that's the plan. And he's angling a little bit, it looks like. That's why I've aimed up. And I'm looking to get the other gun on him, so I'm going full broadside on this guy. And look at how quick he's able to reload and fire those guns. I think it's like a 4 or 5 second reload time. 109,000 damage. Yeah, teammates are whittling him down a little bit. These look like some good shells. I'm aiming up again and hit him with a little bit more, and this should probably do it right here. And there you go. That is the 6-pack, 117,000 damage. Wow. All right, so that was definitely a big-time victory with the Rodney. Almost 1 million silver credits. I was running the boosters across the board, the epic boosters across the board. That's why we have huge XP numbers for basic XP, global XP, and commander XP. 117,000 total damage on 56 main gun hits, an assisted, 3 incapacitations, 6 destroyed ships, and a Citadel hit. And we got a whole bunch of medals down here. High caliber Kraken. It looks like the what is that? The fireproof medal, I think is what it is. And that could be a dreadnought medal right there. And yeah, I think with that many ships that we destroyed, we're spreading the damage out amongst the red team right there. So let's see how we did on the team result. I'm expecting a pretty good score here on the team result. All right, first place overall with 2953 base XP. That is awesome. The Lucian player had 2,700 XP, so that was awesome as well. And he only had 1 destroyed ship. So when you do more in the game, you get huge XP. It's not all about destroyed ships necessarily. So let's see how we did on the economy tab. Being a tier 7 premium, that is your sweet spot for earning credits in a battle. All right, we cleared almost 900,000 silver credits by the time it was all said and done. And that is it for my look at the Rodney. We finally got a good game and can basically showcase what the Rodney can do with those 16-inch guns. The ship is available in the store. I think it's for right around 20,000 doubloons. If you ended up with the ship, maybe you can set it up like this, or check out one of the other videos to have some other options for setting up the ship. But I like the ship, and let me know what you think down below. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like it.